All right, y'all, we back. Nissan Part 2. Go ahead and address this because a lot of people was commenting on it. Yeah, we've done hit up Roadie Fab. I was trying to do it on a budget, a real tight budget. If we had an unlimited budget, we just order all the parts, can do arms and, everything that's, but budget. And I guess, I don't know, kind of frustrated reading it. Oh yeah, you should buy this and this. We're trying to do it on a budget. But to say that, we added to the budget a little bit. We got some drop spindles. He ordered the radius rod delete kit from Roadie Fab with the shocks, so we got that on the way. Because I was going to just build shock mounts, and now we got that kit with shocks, so that's nice. And we're going to get back on it. If you see behind us, show you in this next clip, we already put the drop spindles on this side, and it lays out no problem and doesn't have a lot of camber, so that worked out pretty good.
Guess what happens to it once it becomes that? It gets sold.
All right, y'all, so we out here, it's Wednesday. Got some drop spindles coming in today.
I'm not saying it wouldn't. I want that to happen.
These come off eBay.
Oh, nobody wants.
Yeah.
So Chandler said he wanted to put some big wheels on his Ranger. Justin is trying to explain to him that once you do that, you take all the drivability away, and then you end up selling it.
If the video gets 500 likes, we'll put big billets on the Ranger.
100 likes.
100.
I'm trying to make you spend money.
We'll do 500 likes.
500 likes. It ain't never gonna get it. All right, so we got these spindles. We're gonna stick them on there and see if we can get it to lay out. Yeah, you already saw where we at. So we're gonna stick the spindles on and go from there. I've been doing a bunch of reading, and I know a lot of people do this. It's not new. Hundreds of people online do it. They take these upper control arms right here. They flip them upside down and swap sides. And what that does, that gives you a better upper ball joint angle. And when we were mocking up the passenger side the other day, the upper ball joint was max, like it was screaming. Most recently I watched a video from Roadie Fab, and he was doing one of these trucks, and he done his on 20s, and he had built upper control arms for it, and for some reason they didn't work. So he went back and took a factory one, flipped it upside down. You got to trim this. There's a little bitty lip right here. You got to take the grinder and just knock it flat where the ball joint can come in from the opposite side, and swap sides. So you put driver side on the passenger side upside down and vice versa. And this control arm has a different angle at right here the ball joint. The way it kicks up, it helps the ball joint angles. But when you flip this ball joint up, you see it's got a bump stop built into it. Roadie makes a kit to cut this out, and he sells you a plate to go in here to just basically make it look better and box it. I don't know if I'm gonna box it or not. It's worked like this since 1994, so I don't really see a point. But anyway, I might knock this off just so that doesn't contact anything up there, which I don't think it will. But I'm gonna get these mocked up and see how they work, and I'll show you. All right, so here's what I was referring to. It's got a lip built on the control arm. You just take the grinder, knock it down flat, and then the ball joint can go in. When you flip the control arm upside down, the ball joint can go in flush. All right, let me show you this right here also, if I can demonstrate it. You see the difference in the ball joint angle? So as this control arm is going up, that ball joint's almost 90 degrees right there. As this control arm's going up, it's a whole lot less angle. So that's why people do that, to help ball joint angles, because when you max them out, it's not gonna go any lower, or it is when it breaks the ball joint in half. So we're gonna give this a shot. I know it'll work. Too many people's done it. So, all right, so I got the hood up here. I got a little old spot on each side where the tire is touching the inner fender. And what I wanna do is remove all this, cut that square out, make sure the tire clears, and weld in a little filler panel, and then I'm just gonna put all this right back on top of it. So like this stuff right here makes it a little bit higher, but it'll still look factory when you pop the hood. This side, we got a coolant jug here. I got a little bit of room here to raise it up, and then right here where all these screws are, we can just pop self-tappers into the inner fender and hold it up where it needs to be. There's a hole here, and then there's an unused hole here, so I may can just move that to right there, and that'll be plenty high enough. The airbox should be fine where it's at. So I'm not going to show y'all all the tear down because I'm probably going to be struggling during it because, well, I don't really know what I'm doing. But there's an Op7 underglow light kit wiring harness right here. I'm just going to take this loose from the battery, lay it over here on top of the motor out of the way where I don't have to cut anything for that. And then all these wires look like they're attached to this bracket here that's just screwed to the inner fender. This is screwed to the inner fender. This is screwed to the inner fender. So once I get all that stuff out of the way, there's a fuse box here, it's screwed. Should be able to lay all that out of the way pretty quick. And just, I've got it marked under the bottom, kind of where I need to start. I'm gonna get under there with a drill and pop a couple of holes where I can see it from up here. Cut my little square out and test fit it and try to get the tire up high enough where the truck's laid out. And once I get that and see how much clearance I got, I'll try to cut me some filler panels and get it welded back in. I'm gonna start on this side because it looks like it's gonna be the worst. So I got everything stripped off this inner fender. This is the main wire harness that goes up in the core support. I ain't messing with that, so I got me a ratchet strap. No, I'm not pulling pressure against the hood, but I got it holding the wiring harness up away from this, and got everything stripped back as far as I believe I'm gonna need to be, which is gonna be right up in this area. So I'm gonna get on there and find my marks, pop me a couple holes, and get it cut out, see if we can get it compressed, and go from there. All right, so I got my straight edge under the tire, jacked up. You see it's flush with the engine cross member, and that's laid out. We got a little bit more drop. The radius arm is not bolted to the lower control arm. Let's see if I can get this around there where you can see. And it's touching the inside of the wheel, but it looks to me like you could trim that back a little bit and it would clear. But the spindle clears the wheel just fine. The tie rod end right here looks like it's hitting, but that's because the nut's not tight on it. But everything else cleared just fine with a 16-inch wheel. I had a guy comment on there and say that his wouldn't clear a 16-inch wheel, but this one clears just fine. I've already cut a little bit of the inner fender wheel out, but I still got some contact there. The camber changed a bunch with the spindle because now the upper control arm's not having to go up so high and pulling the top of the tire in. So it kind of changed where this tire was in a fender at. This was inside of this where it's cut yesterday. So I'm gonna have to trim out a little higher there, up here. And still gets plenty of lift. I think you can fit your head in there.
Yeah.
But we got that, we got the spindles just mocked up on there. Pull this tire off, get it fully collapsed. I need to get this radius rod off, get the suspension fully collapsed, and get these upper bag brackets tacked in. Cycle everything, make sure it's good. And then we're gonna get up here and trim some more of this sheet metal out and try to get it where everything clears with the truck all the way down. That way I can go in and put some sheet metal back in there.
And tell them what we got here.
Yeah. All right, so we got the upper bag bracket tacked in. We collapsed the suspension fully, and then collapsed the bag fully, and tacked the bracket in. And I would show you it collapsed, but it takes too much time. So Rody Fab sends these gussets that go on the bag plates. They don't fit, you know, because they're universal, so you have to make them work. So I made a cardboard template of what we had and kept trimming it back till I got something that I like. I've got a nice fit right here, right up close to the upper control arm mounts.
Yep.
And it fits both sides, so I'm about to cut these two out, save this template so when I get ready to do the other side. And we'll have bag brackets. Then once the triangulation kit gets here from Rody, it's got shock mounts and all built in. We'll throw it on and get the frame all completely mocked up, blow it back apart, paint everything. I got to grease all this stuff here. We just stuck spindles on to make sure everything's gonna work. Got to grease all that, and we already pulled the radius rods off. They were actually cleared. So if you're doing this truck on a 23-inch tall tire and you run a 2-inch drop spindle, your radius rod will actually clear, but it would not clear the 16-inch wheel without doing some modifications to it. So he's already got the radius rod kit on the way. It's a much better solution in my opinion because it gives you you don't have caster chains, and it gives you shock mounts. And if you've ever done a bunch of bag minis, there ain't a whole lot of room for shock. So that's a great addition. Very, very well spent $400. Yeah, that's where we at now. We're gonna get the plasma fired up, trim these things up, get them ground down, put back in, and I'll show you that in just a second. All right, so we got the gussets trimmed, got them tack welded in. They fit around the control arm mount real nice. There's a little gap here at the end. What I'm gonna do is weld everywhere it's touching, and then take the hammer and tap that around. But if I try it now, it's gonna break the tack welds. I got both sides tack welded in, and now at this point I'm waiting on the. Let me turn that around.
Yeah.
I'm waiting on the radius rod kit before I blow it all apart and finish welding it. I'm gonna go ahead and get the shock mounts mocked up. But notice there's some rust right here. I'm gonna grind that down a little bit and see if that's rusted through or if it's just surface rust. I'm hoping it's surface rust, but Jason asked me about that today, and I was like, I'd be honest, I didn't even pay no attention when I was working on it. So we're gonna see that. We may have to cut that out and put some metal in there, brace that back up. But
Body shop stuff.
But that's about it for tonight. Maybe the rest of the parts will show up tomorrow, the next couple days. If they don't show up tomorrow, we still got plenty of work to do on the other side to make it get to this point. And we're getting close with this front end. All in all, I probably got 6 hours and everything. So it's not bad. It looks like a long time, but I hadn't really worked on that much. But like I say, I already cut this fender out. I got to relocate everything up there and put a wheel tub in it. But I want to get the front suspension dialed in before I start on the sheet metal. So I got this fender cut out where the tire clears, and I started piecing together a new inner fender, just to cover it up. This is just old trailer fender, and we built a side for it.
You're gonna do some bead rolling on it?
Fixing to get ready to do a little bead rolling for Jason on the other side.
We already made the design on it.
Hope you like it, Jason.
Have fun.
So, how's it going?
Great.
Hard.
It's hard.
And long?
Yeah.
Nah, just short.
Is it curved to the left?
Just got a lot of girth.
A lot of girth. Hey, Jason, they said they made it life size for you. I'm not really sure how
Like
they.
a Pringles can.
I'm not really sure how they knew what life size was for you, but I think they subscribed.
Small Pringles can.
I think they subscribed to your OnlyFans.
I mean, I wasn't gonna say it, but
Finger, kind of mocked up here. It's sitting on the factory inner skirt, all the way around, and then I'm just gonna push it back up against here, weld it. It goes down behind the battery tray here. The back's still open, but we're not worried about that. So I'm just trying to keep all this mud and dirt out the engine bay. So we're gonna tack it around here, and probably down here, seam seal around it, and then build mounts to mount everything back up here like it was. I'm sorry, I showed you the motor there. Well, should have been showing you this. I think it's gonna work out pretty good. Like I said earlier, I wasn't really supposed to do no sheet metal work on this truck because I thought the wheel and tire combo would fit under the fender, but it did not. So
no.
we whipped some fenders up there. Took us an hour or so, and I don't know, probably what, hour and a half,
Yeah, hour and a half.
something like that. And we still got to do the other side. That's actually, you remember what the measurement was? I think it's 3 inches above the skirt.
Yep.
Over here, this is a windshield wiper squirter.
No, 4.5.
Yeah, 4.5. That's right. I don't know how high this side's gonna have to go up, but that may have to get relocated or removed.
Windshield washer.
But this I know has got to stay because that's a vacuum pod for the or evap setup. We could change this to a filter, but the tire's not over here, so we're not worried about that. I'm just worried about the windshield wiper squirter. So that won't be tonight though. 10 o'clock. I got to go ahead to my grandpa's, and we're making progress. All right, y'all. I'm back. Took a few days off. Had to cut my grass one day when I got home from work. Yesterday, I ate some food that made me sick. Got food poisoning. Was down in bad shape. So we're feeling better today. Back out here on this Nissan. I got this front inner fender well built last week, and I just spot welded it around into the inner fender, and that'll keep all the dirt and everything out in the engine bay. And about to start mounting this stuff back to the fender, get all that stuff kind of back in there like it was. I don't know exactly what I'm gonna do with all this stuff. Probably gonna go get some bolts and just weld them to the new inner fender. You know, basically make a stud. I think that would be easier than trying to, you know, put all the factory bolts in it, put nuts on the bottom, and then you got a chance of the tire rubbing it. So I don't want anything on the bottom side of the fender, which is not really close to the tire. But you know, if he gets this thing home and decides to stick a set of 18s on it, you know, it may rub, it may not. But so here's what I was going for. I wanted to do the inner fenders, but I wanted it to look like nothing had been touched. So everything's mounted, the battery's still there. This is the power steering reservoir, vacuum canister, cruise control and all still there. Fuse box, everything's still there. It's all mounted. And if you just glance under here, it just looks like a stock fender well. So I feel like I accomplished what I was going for. And now that I know everything fits, I got to blow it all the way back apart. I welded it earlier, just spot welded it all the way around. I'm gonna go back and seam seal it real good, and then spray paint it black where to match the rest of the truck, and then bolt all this in for final time, and then get started over here on the other side. I don't think this side's, I don't really know how it's gonna go. That can be raised up. May have to get rid of that and try to find a smaller one, you know, later on or something. But I'm gonna try to fit it in there. I can probably slide it that way because there's a gap there. I may can slide it that way and get it to clear. I just don't know until I get in there. But go ahead and get this side wound up. And I've got some wires here for a system and for the underglow lights that I've got to hook back up. I got a wire here for the underglows and a wire here for the underglows, and they all plug into that main control box, and that's why I left this open. All that'll mount right there. So I got this little fuse box here, and that's gonna sit right here and fill up that little bit of empty gap that was there. And the factory power steering reservoir, I actually mounted it back to the factory 2 bolt holes down here, and I had to cut some off because this used to go all the way back down to the factory inner fender. I just trimmed it off, and there's a little brace on the inside. I trimmed it off, and now it sits right there on top of it. Good to go. And there was a ground wire here. I just drilled a hole in it, nut and a bolt, and when I paint everything, I'll grind that paint back off there so to get a good ground, and should be good to go. Here I just drilled a hole in it, put a bolt, let's see if you can see it, put a bolt in a nut, one of the factory ones that come out of there, stuck it back in there. I got some relays back here. I'm not really sure what that thing is. Fuse box, that is looks like some kind of vacuum pump or something for the cruise control. It's got a little hose that runs over there, got a plug in. I'm assuming that makes cruise control work. And then I got 2 relays that was back there already on the firewall, and just mounted all that stuff a little bit higher. Looks pretty good. Getting ready to cut this fender well out this side, and there is a plastic duct right here for the air intake. Factory air box inside there, hooks in it up here, and supplies it with non-wet water or non-wet air, so you don't hydrolock your motor. And it draws air from way up there. There's a 10mm stud on the 10mm stud on each end. Goes through. You got to take the nut off the backside. This one came right off. That one had to get cut with a sawzall. So I jacked my tire up here. I marked it a while ago. Kind of needs to be here to here, and cut that square out, and that's where we're gonna start. And so I pulled this out last night, and while pulling it out, this is the hose that when you hit your little windshield wiper squirter button on the inside, that motor turns on, pushes water through here, and then it goes in here and goes, yeah, none of that was hooked up. So crisis averted. I don't have to relook at that because it didn't work to begin with. And this truck's only got 1 windshield wiper, so it's got the long windshield wiper mod that goes all the way across the windshield. So I guess it'll be okay because there are no squirters. But now it's time to fill this hole in. And the parts we've been waiting on finally showed up. Mr. Rody, he sent out a radius rod kit and the shock mounts. So it's Friday afternoon, about to get out here and get the pounding on this thing, see if I can get these put on today and tomorrow so that I can get this thing rolled, because I need to catch up on some customer stuff. This thing's been on the lift and this is actually the end of week 2, waiting on this stuff to get here. So that's why we hadn't really put out a video for, a week and a half. But I'm gonna get this thing on, show you what's up with it. Probably not gonna be as in-depth as I was on Dawson's Tacoma when I done his. Because if you want to know how to do it, you can check that video out, or you can check out Rody Fab's video. He's got a killer like 8-minute video that shows you everything you need to know about how to do this on his page. That scraping pavement is his page. All right, so we got this Rody Fab kit unboxed. We already had bag brackets and bags for the front. So this is basically the Jake's Choice kit that he sells without the bags and bag brackets. You get front shocks. This is the radius rod mounts. This will mount to the frame. This has got to be welded together. This is your gusset for the lower control arm. It's going to go inside the pipe here, like that. Upper shock mounts, they got to be welded together. Comes with your heim joints, your misalignment spacers and everything, all that. And comes with instructions. Tells you the measurements and everything that you need, and everything you need to check before you weld it. Make sure it's 90 degrees. And it also comes with this, whatever you call those things, where you can scan it and it'll take you to the YouTube video so that you can watch him do this install. And like I say, he done a very good job at describing it. And we're gonna get in here and throw this thing in. I gotta pull the control arms back off the truck. I had it all mocked up. So we can pull that off and get started. All right, so got the kit mocked up here. When Jason ordered this kit, he ordered the install kit. It comes with this rod with the nuts and all to help you get all that lined up. If you're gonna do this, make sure you get that kit. If you've done some before, you got a kit laying around, but we had one that Dawson ordered one, but it wouldn't work with his Toyota stuff, and I don't know what happened to it, so I'm glad Jason ordered this. But we got it mocked up. You got to come in and notch the lower control arm around the pipe, and once you get it notched where it fits down in there, most of the time when you do this bag bracket won't already be there. But when I originally put these on, I wasn't planning on putting this kit on, so I'm gonna have a little bit of fun trying to get in there, but that shouldn't be no problem. And then I got to weld this around. Got the jam nut here, but the directions say from the end of this tube to the center of this rod needs to be 12 inches. Ours is dead on. And from the thick part of this to the edge of this misalignment spacer needs to be 3 3/4. And ours is dead on that measurement. 3 3/4. And then the end of the pipe to the center of the, well, it's actually off just a hair. But all that measures out. About to burn this guy in, and then I got to weld these out. This is the mounts that go on the frame for here, and I'll show you that in just a minute. And I'm going to go ahead and burn this out, and then I'll start putting those together. What you're doing is you're taking this stack of parts and you're turning it into this, which literally basically fell together. You got slots here. I mean, you can't really screw it up. Man, I can't speak enough about this dude. Fantastic product. Just throw your heim in there, gets it spaced. Back plate, it's got these little tabs that literally just drops down on there. You can't screw it up. You make the end flush, and it's notched out for the heim. It's a great product. I'm gonna weld this one out, let it cool off, take the heim out of here, assemble this one, and we'll be ready to start putting these on the frame. All right, so got this control arm mocked up, got this bracket welded out. I want y'all to look how good this thing fits. You got to get in here and grind the paint down, which was kind of a pain because of the exhaust, but we got it. And got to weld that dude on. Probably just gonna weld it down the sides. Give me a nice weld there and down here, and it'll never go nowhere. I'm trying to get it to focus on for y'all there. Super nice kit. Also, there are some sleeves that come, or some like real thick washers that come. They weld here. I actually didn't know that myself. I had to send him a message and ask him because I didn't see it anywhere on any of the videos. So it's like a 1/4 inch thick washer and you weld it there, and then your bolt and your washer goes through. So gonna get that welded out and go on to the other side. We might finish this tonight. All right, so I got the driver's side control arm hung last night, the bracket welded to the frame. I got it here this morning. I just finished welding out this passenger side one. Got the control arm knots, got it fit down in there, welded it 12 inches from the center of the rod to the end of the pipe, 3 3/4 over, welded it out. He says in the directions to make sure that you let it cool to the touch before you take the rod out, that way it don't move. So we're gonna let that sit there in front of the fan for a minute. And get over here, there's a bracket on the frame that's gotta be cut off on the passenger side. Driver's side was smooth, but this side's got a little bracket right here. I'm not really sure what that's for, to be honest. Maybe for a manual transmission or something, I don't know. But I got to get that cut off, ground down the frame, and get that plate ready to go in. So that's next. All right, so I got this lower shock stud tack welded to the control arm. I got the shock on, and I had to trim part of the skirt away to fit it in there. This is the firewall, so I trimmed, there's probably an 1/8 of an inch of skirt left there, but I trimmed it back, and the shock is kind of at an angle because of how offset the top is, but I didn't want to bring this any farther this way because I was going to be real close to the firewall. I didn't want to take no chances on it maybe rubbing, you know, as the chassis flexes and causes a squeaking noise or something like that. So but it cycles nice and smooth. Get this jack let down. That's full lift right there. Ball joints is maxed out, and it still got shock travel. So I marked it all the way down and all the way up. All the way up still hid, so it's not going to limit lift, and it goes full droop. So that's that. I got to do the other side and weld these out. I got to figure out, probably just going to weld that brake line back to the frame like it was, just over out of the way, and weld that all the way around. I still got to do this bracket on the other side, and once I get all that done, I'm gonna blow it apart, paint it, and when I come back with the next video, y'all will see this thing on the ground. The front will be on the dirt, and I'll be pretty much wound up with the front, spin it around, get started on the back. I got this inner fender sitting there. I still got to grind the backside of it, clean it up real good, and then weld it in, and seam seal it, paint it, and all that good stuff. And the front's almost done, but this video is getting kind of long, so I figured I better stop right here with it and give y'all some weekly updates. All right, I'm gonna wind up this video here. I've been waiting on parts from Rody. They finally come in yesterday, you know. So got this front end almost back together. I've got this side completely mocked up. I still got to finish the other side. I got to do the triangulation bracket on the frame and the shock mounts, and that'll be done. But this video is getting kind of long. I figured it was time to cut it off. My birthday is in a couple days, so my dad's gonna take me out for lunch today for my birthday, and we got the Waycross cruise in tonight. So when I get back for lunch, I got to go here and get these vehicles cleaned up. Hang my eyes, bro. Get these vehicles cleaned up so we can go hang out with our buddies tonight, cruise over. We'll have y'all video on this Ranger coming up real soon. Check this out. I ain't never seen that boy smile that big. Yeah, that's right. It crunk. I'm as excited as Chandler is. Man, that's gonna be a bad little dude. So he's got it out this week and polished up the wheels. And if you're in South Georgia tonight, Waycross, Georgia, August 19th, come out downtown city cruise. We'll have the Ranger there. So it's not drivable yet. It doesn't have a drive shaft, and we haven't bled the brakes, but we did get it to crank. We're gonna trailer it over and unload it. Let him show it off a little bit, get his motivation wound back up again. Oh, he'll be driving that dude in a couple weeks. So, hey, I appreciate y'all watching. Every single one of y'all. Thank you. Me and this dog right here appreciates you. Yeah. See y'all. Wake up.